You will all know by now that the Conquest mode coming to Star Wars Battlefront 2 is arriving in February. Now, I think the main concern and the biggest questions asked about this mode is, well, of course, how it works, but also the player count. What will the player count be? A lot of people, I think, may well be worried that it's just going to be sticking to 20 versus 20, but honestly, I think it needs a minimum of 32 versus 32. So this video is just going to be basically explaining why I think this. Now, I think it's fairly obvious, Battlefield 5 and all other previous Battlefield titles have had 64 players in the server on its Conquest mode, the main mode in the Battlefield franchise. So, basically, I think there's no excuse to not have at least 64 players in a Battlefront title, it would be honestly stupid not to, and obviously the community has been requested far more players in game modes, such as GA and Walker Assault from Battlefront 2015. People have been saying that it feels too small, it's quite empty, but honestly, I think I've done a video on this a few months ago, basically explaining why GA is okay the way it is, or I've mentioned this on Twitter many times, but Galactic Assault just does not need any more players. That's all. If they're going to increase the player count, just bring it in on this new Conquest mode. But essentially, capital ship exploration is also available in this mode. We can go through the Venators and the Separatist dreadnoughts as stated on the Battlefront 2 website, and that just essentially means that the map is going to be further expanded. So we would definitely need 32 players per side at a minimum, and perhaps even some challenging AI, because if you think about it, the map is going to be fully fully open, I imagine, with all the capture points being placed around and so on. So for even 32 versus 32, it's going to be very small, and you're not going to be doing particularly much. The map will be massive, and the actual player count will be relatively small in comparison. Because if you look at Galactic Assault, whilst the map it's played on is huge, essentially like Kashyyyk for example, the objective area in which you actually play is fairly small actually. If you think about it, where you spawn in as the Republic, as to where the MTTs start, it's a fairly small playground, and obviously in Stage 2 you only have the turbo tank area, and then in Stage 3 you've only got the actual inside of the Venators, and it's just enough for 20 versus 20, it's absolutely fine. But then if you open up the whole map, you're going to need far more than 32 versus 32. So I'm saying this as a minimum requirement really for the 32 players per side, but it's just, if the whole map is opened up plus capital ships exploration in the actual map itself, then you're going to need far more players than that, because you'd just be running around doing absolutely sod all game and not really finding any players. So whether they have 32 versus 32 as kind of the actual online player base, and then have AI running around as well, firstly make them challenging, obviously, because then it'll be more interesting, but you would probably need some actual AI to be running around and playing the objective as well, just to make it a bit more interesting and make it feel like an actual Star Wars battle, because otherwise you're just not going to get that much enjoyment out of it. And I know for maps like the Death Star, 32 players per side may work, but it just depends honestly, because the maps, to be fair, on Battlefront 2, they are pretty damn big. Whether they limit the map and just cut off some parts, I don't know. Maybe they'll do this just to try and make Conquest a bit more non-linear, because obviously many of the maps are fairly linear. I mean, you look at Naboo right now, it is basically just a straight line with 3 lines going through the first phase, and then, well, through the second phase as well. It's just 3 lines going straight up the map. So whether they just cut off like the starting area and they have the palace and these kind of places that we can see now, I really don't know. But honestly, just kind of for these reasons, Conquest needs to have more than 32 players per side, or that as a minimum, and include AI, because otherwise you're just going to get bored really quickly, and it's just not going to be that enjoyable, honestly. Whilst the overall gameplay of the mode might be quite interesting, it's going to be fun, the overall player base, I just don't want to see people complaining about how there's not enough players and there's not that much excitement out of it, because this mode has been probably spoken about in DICE for over a year now, but it's been brought to the community in terms of the actual news for it since, well, probably about 6-7 months ago now. So I do want to see this mode work. It's highly anticipated. It's something I'm really looking forward to, but I am incredibly worried about it, and I don't want to worry, but it's only a few months away now. It comes out in late February, guys, so that will be it for today. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think we should get more than 32 players or not? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and may the force be with you always.